Welcome back to our amazing podcast, Radiant Memoirs. I'm your beautiful host, Tia B, and to the left of me, I have
your other beautiful host, Arisha.
And we are so excited to have you all back again for our third episode.
I know.
And this one, we'll be talking about some interesting things.
Very
this
interesting.
This one is called Real Truth Matters.
What?
Right?
RTM?
RTM. Real Truth Matters. All right. So, let's get into it, Raisha.
Let's go.
What kind of questions you got for us today? Let's see.
Well, my first question is, do you have a moral compass?
Yes, I do. I had to think about it first. Okay. So, moral compass. What do you mean? Well, I know what you mean by moral compass, but like, do you mean like with what I do, or like just in general, or?
No, just okay. So when I think about moral compass, I'm thinking more of self-identity.
Yeah.
What really drives your morality and how you show up in the world?
Honestly, like for me, I feel like it's being unique to who I am as a person. I also recognize that I set certain boundaries for myself. I think we talked about this on our previous episodes about boundary setting.
Yeah.
And for me, I have certain non-negotiables. Like I don't change who I am for other people. I don't change who I am just because I'm in a different space, or I don't change who I am because I'm around like maybe like a different crowd or something. I'm always staying true to who I am. And I feel like one of the ways how I showcase my moral compass or staying true to who I am as a person is through my style. I love different colors. I love patterns. I love making sure that I'm able to express who I am. And I feel like my self-expression and just staying true to who I am has like been two of the main things that really have guided my moral principles as a person, and making sure I don't shift because like of other things that may be changing. Because I recognize that I'm still myself versus whatever else is happening.
Right.
And again, my upbringing, coming from a traditional African household, my parents both raised us to believe in ourselves, you know, and really ask yourself, hey, what is it that you want to do? What is it that you want to create, and do it?
Right.
And I feel like ever since we have had that kind of upbringing, it really is contributing to who I am as a person right now.
So. I love that.
Thank you. But what about you? What do you think is the basis of your moral compass, and what kind of guides you through everything?
Honestly, I feel like I've been struggling with that for a long time, because for me, I know who I want to be. I know how I want to show up in the world.
Yeah. But
also, too, it's really hard trying to navigate that when you have, when you become a parent, when you're married. Because now you have other people that are looking up to you as well. It's not just like being a mentor. It's like you are the sole being of why these people exist. So it's a different experience. But for me, I've been struggling with it for the past few years because I haven't been able to really hone in on self-healing and healing from my past, my childhood. So I didn't grow up in a two-parent household. My mom and my grandmother raised me. And it was just really difficult because the absence of my dad lashed out into my attitude. And so I was always angry until I started going to counseling and therapy. And I discovered why I was so angry. It was because of that trauma that happened as a child. And now as an adult, it's kind of like trying to unlearn every single thing that you've done as a child, because you don't want to pass that on to your kids.
Exactly.
So for me, I'm a work in progress. I can't say that this is one way or the other, because every day is a new adventure. My kids are getting up in age where they're actually starting to pick up on different things, and things that we do around the house as a family, and eating together for dinner or going out to eat, what that looks like for us, and basically creating our own family dynamic outside of what ours look like. Because my husband is the same way. He didn't grow up in a two-parent household, but his grandparents raised him. And so it's so beautiful because he did have that father figure, but I didn't.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I love that. I really do. And I love how you can take more of a control in kind of constructing that moral compass and like pushing it into your children.
Yeah.
So that they can grow up and experience those types of things that, not that you experience, but experience the positives of that.
Exactly.
And I just love that. I really do. Because like, no, really. I really do. That's great. I feel like that also goes into our next question. What does being truthful mean to you?
Ooh.
Yeah.
What does truthful mean to me? I gotta think on that one. Ooh, I read a blank.
I mean, I feel like you already said it before.
Yeah.
And what you're talking about.
But then also too, like being truthful is layers to it. Being authentic and being genuinely yourself and being happy with who you are.
Yeah.
And also, like I said, with your moral compass, how you show up in the world.
Yeah.
And so in our previous episodes, I talked about being content with where I am now, with the person that I am today. Because there was a time where I wasn't proud of how I showed up in the world, but today I'm proud. So I can say I'm good. I'm in a really good space in my life.
Yeah.
And so being truthful is like walking and knowing that you deserve everything that is being given to you. Yeah. But also acknowledging that you have flaws, you're not perfect. You would never be perfect. And canceling out the outside noise because they're just people, they're just opinions. But it can be so overwhelming with a person that is still trying to walk in their truth, but not fully there yet. Yeah. And for me, it was hard for me going into this because, again, going back to me and my husband's dynamic, it's different for us because he has a huge family and it's only a handful of us. So I longed for like close relationships with my family and stuff like that, which we do have some, but every family has their flaws. Yeah. And it's like, I just love how we come from different backgrounds and we're able to bring out the best in each other. So being truthful means, again, just walking in who you are and being accepting of that too. Because a lot of times we're so caught up in, we need to be this way, we need to be this way, we have to be perfect. But it's like, you should not be in competition with anyone but yourself. Yeah. And I felt like for a long time I wouldn't say that I was being unauthentic. It was more so I was trying to show up in the world as how I thought someone else wanted me to show up and not how I wanted to show up for myself. And so now I'm like, I'm walking in that. I'm the girl that tells all the jokes. I'm going to joke around. I'm going to walk in with a smile on my face. I have my moments, but I'm human,
Exactly. So, no, and I honestly feel the same way. And I feel like in addition to that, I view being truthful as also making sure I'm congruent. I'm making sure that whatever I say I'm going to do, my actions match that. Right. Whenever I talk, the way I speak, even the foods I drink, the things, or foods I drink, the things that y'all caught that one. Not the foods that I drink, but even down to the clothes that I wear, the people I surround myself with, all that just creates my truth. the way how I see the world around me and how I fit in relation to all that. You know, and I feel like you said it beautifully. You pulled on your relationships, you know, and I feel like for me, I pull from my own relationships when I think of what truly defines who I am. And it's because of those relationships, and also my most important one with God, and then also with myself too, and then also with other people around me. I feel like that is like a whole like circle, triangle, whatever you want to call it. It's just all interconnected. And for me, that's how I view my truth, as being formed on relationships, kind of similar to how yours is too. But also practicing congruency, making sure that my actions match what I'm doing, match the types of people I meet, just making sure that I have that kind of flow going on.
Exactly.
That even if there's an imbalance, I can spot it, I know where it's at, or even if I miss it, God got me. You know, so I feel like at the end of the day, that's really what it means to me. And that's how I'm able to practice it moving forward. So
I love that. I love that. You know, it's beautiful being able to just walk in truth, you know, and it's different for everyone else, but I love that, you know, it's very... I love that it's very unique to each individual, and no one's story is the same. So walking in that and being truthful to yourself, but also knowing who you are, because for a long time I didn't know who I was. And when you start to self-reflect, that's what brings that out of. And honestly, that goes into our next question.
It does. It really does. Like, so when we think about self-reflection and tying it back to us now knowing who we are, what we like, what are some things we don't like, who are some people we like, who's some people we know. Hey, I'm not messing with you, but just know we cordial, but I really don't fool with you like that. But
not
it's okay.
I
really don't. You know, and it's okay to be like that. So when we bring in all of that and talk about self-reflection, like, how do you do it? You know, what would be like maybe some steps that somebody who is struggling with self-reflection could do to kind of practice that?
I think for me, and again, this is another thing that is a work in progress. Because when you start to self-reflect, a lot of things come up. A lot of things start to come up. And if you're not healthy mentally, then you're not able to challenge or work on those things when you're self-reflecting. But for me, therapy helped me.
Yeah, same. Same.
Being able to talk to my therapist, and it's so crazy because my friend, no one really talked about going to therapy and mental health and what it means to be healthy mentally. So, my friend, she told me, she was like, Raisha, you are the first person in my circle to even bring that up, to even be openly to talk about that, to be vulnerable enough to discuss that, you know, because in the old days, it was frowned upon to go talk to a therapist or to seek help when you needed it. You were deemed as, oh, something is wrong with you, or you're a state patient, or you don't have it all together, you can't function properly on a daily basis. But if you think about it, in our community, the black community, we don't talk about being healthy, you know, mentally. Like, we don't talk about it enough. So for me, again, therapy really helped me, guide me through that. With me having PTSD, high anxiety, nervous breakdowns. I used to have panic attacks, you know, going through postpartum. And again, like, I know that we'll get into these conversations, deeper into these conversations, but those are just a few to name that things that are not being talked about. You know, a woman being able to carry a baby for 9 months and then having a baby, but now it's a culture shock because you're not used to if this is your first kid, you're not used to caring for another human being. Like if something happens to that baby, you're responsible. You know,
it's a lot of responsibility.
It is. Yeah. And if you're not prepared for it, and honestly, you can never be prepared for it, but mentally, if you're not there and you don't have that support system, it can be a long, drawn out process. And you're battling with yourself. You know, you're going into postpartum, you're going into depression, and you're thinking like, how do I get back to me? Yeah. You know? So, I would say that it was therapy, seeking God first, but also just being able to say that, to voice when I'm not okay. Yeah.
And that it's okay to do so.
Yeah. Yeah. Because a lot of times you don't have that space to say, today is not the day. I'm not having a good day today.
And it's like sometimes yes, and also we have that space, but we don't want to admit when we've had enough. Yep. And that's what happened to me. You know, I didn't feel like I could really admit that even to my own self. Like, Tia, it's time. You need to talk to somebody. Like, you can't handle everything by yourself. And I feel like I also didn't want to be real with my own self. You know, actually thinking about the different things I was struggling with. That, yes, I was depressed. Yes, I wasn't the best friend to people. Yes, I was very selfish. You know, I was very one-track minded. Yes, I was very dissociated from my relationships. Yes, even that relationship included my relationship with my own self too. And to actually come out and actually talk to somebody about that, let alone like a professional about that, it takes a lot of courage. And at that time, I wasn't at that place to execute that courage. I really wasn't. And what really ticked for me was when, like I said, I was in my bathroom, like on the floor, like crying. I didn't know what I was gonna do. I was like, I need help. And so I found it was a directory from Black Women in Therapy. I believe so. Okay. Yes, Black Women in Therapy, they have a directory, and that's how I found my therapist today. Shout out to them. Yeah.
Spring Hill.
Hey, listen.
Spring Hill.
I hope I had the right therapy for Black women. Thank you. Therapy for Black girls. Thank you. Shout out to Tam. She always gonna snap. Yes, excuse me. Therapy for Black girls. I found that I was listening to the podcast and I found the directory online, and that's how I got connected with my own therapist today. So ever since then, and I graduated in 2021, so I've been with my current therapist for about 3 years. Yeah, about 3 years. And it's still a beautiful thing because she's seen me grow. And I feel like a few moments before we had our check-in where we like update the plan and stuff to see where else I would need help, and we were going through all the different goals that I had for myself. And she was going through, we was talking about it, and it was goals that I established from the first time we met. And we went through all those goals, and I like cleared all those goals. I was like, was that me? I was like, yeah. And I kept asking her because I couldn't really believe it. I was like, is that me? Yeah. She was like, yeah, that's what you told me. Like, it's in my notes. Like, that's what it is. I was so like awestruck. Like, I started crying because I didn't really realize that I could accomplish all those things, let alone continue to build upon myself and the different things that I want to do. Absolutely. So all that I was able to do because I decided to make that choice to believe in myself and self-reflect, you know, which is so important. And I feel like a lot of people don't do that because it's frowned upon, especially when avenues like therapy is frowned upon. It's not as explorative, or it's not as put out there as it should be, because a lot of people can be helped. Like I was helped, like you were helped, because a lot of people do need it, especially Black women. We're facing a lot of stress, a lot of different things, especially when it does come to pregnancy in Black women. And then even different things like depression, those things need to be talked about a lot.
Right.
And a lot more than how they are right now. And so, jumping back to my story, is what I'm saying is that if we have more, I guess, conversations about this and talk about the importance of these avenues that can help us get the help we need, maybe like we could bridge the gap between understanding how much of a benefit it is to actually self-reflect and be, I guess, of a benefit to your own self and your growth.
Yeah, I love that. I think it went out. The camera. That one? Is it the better?
Because it made that sound.
Oh, colorful.
Really?
We was doing all that talking. Well, we wrap. Excuse me. We're gonna have to edit. We're gonna have to edit. Really? Yeah. All this burping, all this chair cracking.
I know.
Yeah,
You wanna turn the camera around?
I mean, it's still recording, so.
Oh.
Yeah. It's been recording us this whole time.
Perfect,
So I was looking at this camera, not that.
Okay, perfect. Okay.
You was looking at that one?
I don't know.
It's okay.
It's okay. It's alright.
Okay.
I think that completes our conversation for the amount of questions that we have for today. But we did not forget. Hey, we got our radiant. Hey, we got our radiant. Hey. Let's see what our lovely viewers have to say. You know, lovely viewers and listeners. We have a question. All right, now. You ready? Because I'm ready.
Oh, Lord.
This is a great question. Are you standing on business?
Oh my gosh. Who said this?
Are you standing on business? Who is it?
Who is it?
I'm going to find you.
She's going to find you.
I'm going to find you. Scoping the scene, trying to find you. I'm going to find you.
Am I standing on business?
Are you?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Every time.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yeah.
When things need to be done, yeah.
And you get it done.
Yeah. We're going to get it done.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to get it done.
If she's standing on business, guess who's standing on business? Because I'm going to stand on business, too. And it's just honestly making sure your priorities are in order.
Yep.
Making sure, like, congruency. Like, making sure you say what you're going to do and do what you're going to do.
Exactly.
Right?
Yep.
Say what you're going to do and do what you said you were going to do.
Yeah.
Some people don't do that.
Yeah.
And we all know who those people are.
Oh, God.
I mean, we all know those people. We not calling no names. But we know those people. And sometimes you just have to leave people where they are.
Yeah.
You know, but that doesn't mean you have to be that person.
But you know what?
You know?
It's so, and like going back to that last question when we say we want to self-reflect.
Yeah.
Being able to know when to distance yourself from other people.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I am so big on energies now. I was just telling my therapist this I was just telling her this a couple of weeks ago. Mm-hmm. I was like, I am so, since I've been going to therapy, and again, I've been going for about almost 4 years.
Yeah.
And consistently, because I've been going on and off, but consistently for almost 4 years. And for me, I'm like, I feel, she was like, do you think you have high emotion and a high emotional intelligence? And I didn't know what that was. And it's like, I'm like, what? High emotional intelligence? Like, girl, you giving me vocabulary words?
Right.
You know, so now when I talk to my friends, I'm like, what's your emotional intelligence looking like?
No, really. Like, you have to ask those questions.
Right. And so for me, I was just like, I definitely do. And it's like when you start having those conversations and, again, self-reflecting, it creates like a barrier. It's like like all of these triggers starts to come up, and you start to identify what those triggers are. So things like energies and conversations, and when you feel like something is off, it's like you want to go ahead and address that. So like now with the conversations that I'm having, if I feel like the energy is off, I'm going to tell you. I'm like,
oh, really?
I don't know where this is going. Like, I'm getting like a vibe, like, you know, but I also know how to create that distance. For me, it took a lot in me to kind of like, I wouldn't say, I'm going to say it, cut people off. Because everyone does not deserve to go with you forever, to every level or every space that you occupy. And so for me, I wanted to hold on to everyone, and I wanted everyone to go with me to the next level. I wanted to, take everyone to college with me. I want everyone to graduate. I want all of us to make six figures. It's not. And it's like, when you start outgrowing different spaces, it opens up, again, vulnerability, but it also opens up another window where I like to call being committed to like who you truly are. Because for me, being in that space as a first college graduate in my family, I didn't have anyone to really talk to. So I couldn't call them and be like, hey, well, I just got a nice, nasty email from one of my coworkers. I don't know how to respond to her. I can't call them and be like, what should I say? Yeah. So now it's like, if the energy is off, I'm out. I don't want to do it. I just feel like life is so short.
It is, yeah.
And I know people say it all the time. They're like, oh, it's a cliche. And it is. But it's the truth. Like,
it's true.
Life is so short. I don't want to go through life waking up thinking, do my friends really love me? Do they really support me? It's like, if you give me any type of vibe that you don't truly support me, or the love is not genuine,
we're done.
I'm just cutting my there. It's not to say that I hate you or we have beef or anything like that. It's just we've outgrown each other in this capacity, and we may align down the road. But right now,
it's a no.
Where I am right now, it's just not working for me. So I don't want to consume myself in conversation and involving myself around individuals that no longer operate in the same capacity that I'm in.
Exactly.
So,
and to pull from what you said, I really love how you said it's a commitment.
Yeah.
And you're really ultimately, when you start setting those boundaries, you're committed to yourself too. Because you know what you like, what you don't like, and you know what you will tolerate and what you won't tolerate.
Like you say, intolerable.
We don't got time for that. So honestly, it's just you understanding who you are as a person. You standing on business.
That part.
You standing on business.
That part.
Yeah. And we won't tolerate anybody moving into 2024. By the time you see this episode, it will be 2024.
I know.
That's so
crazy.
Cool.
We're filming this at the end of 2023, but you guys get to see it in 2024. So it's going to be a new year, a new chapter for both of us. Prosperity, success.
I want us to stand on business.
Abundance, blessings.
Amen.
And
we claim it.
Yeah, all of that, all the good things.
We do. And not only for us, but for y'all too.
Yeah.
Make sure you watch who's in your circle. Make sure you watch who really has your best interests at heart.
Absolutely.
Because there will be some people who won't. And it's always great to pray to God, ask for discernment. So
why was I thinking that? I was thinking discernment. I was thinking that.
Crazy. Hey. So it's very important to pray to God to ask for discernment on who you want to surround yourself with and who not to. Because if you are not careful, you'll miss them signs. Next thing you know, you'll wonder why you're not excelling or you're not. Besides, maybe you contributing to that, maybe you're not, doing certain things. A lot of the times, it could be other people who generally don't want good for you.
Exactly.
And you have those people close to you. And you wonder why, hey, you haven't gotten that job offer.
Yeah.
Or you wonder why, hey, you haven't, gotten that check in the mail or something like that.
Yeah.
Or you're still battling with this, battling with that.
Yeah.
Check the people in your circle. Talk to God, because it's okay, and He's there. He's listening to you, and He will guide you. And He's probably telling you right now, hey, that person, let them go. And sometimes that's the hardest conversation you can have with your own self, as far as who you want to let go and who you want to keep.
Yeah.
But if we let go of those people, we allow more space to receive the people into our life who's truly going to love us. And what's that quote? You haven't yet met all the people that are going to love you.
Exactly.
And sometimes it takes us having to sift through, there goes that shift. And it's okay. It's going to be painful, probably, you know. For some people, they can just do it just like that.
Yeah.
For me, I know it was painful. I know I had to let a few people go. Sometimes it's almost like when a job like soft fires you or something. Like they let you down, like nice and easy. It was kind of the same thing. Sometimes a cutoff could be you just not talking to that person anymore. Probably not as often as how you used to, and that's okay. Life happens. But if you need to cut that person out, they gotta go. But you're just allowing room for more people to come in. That will really see you through your worst parts, your best parts, even the parts in the middle, and I would want that more, for anything. And I would want that for you too.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Last thing on this topic. Yeah. It's crazy because, like, even letting people go that have been a part of your journey is really, like you said, it's painful. Yeah. Because, honestly, it's worse than a breakup with, like, a significant other. Oh, yeah. Friend breakups are horrible because it's like they've been through, like, the relationship statuses with you. They've gone through so many different experiences with you throughout life. So, like, cutting somebody off or, creating that distance between you and a very long childhood friend or a friend where you guys used to do everything, I know I keep saying culture shock, but it really is. It's like a different world because someone that you used to talk to like almost every day, someone who was like your person, like you can go and talk to them about anything, and now you're getting the sense that they're not genuinely happy for you. And sometimes it don't have to be envious or malicious intent. Sometimes it can just be that
competition.
Not even competition, but sometimes people are just in a place where they can't be happy for other people because they haven't reached that level of maturity yet. Ooh,
that's it right there.
So
maturity,
you have to therapy.
That's it. And
therapy. Therapy. Okay. You have to understand where people are in their lives. And you have to accept them where they are. You can't put expectations on people, and then when they let you down, you're like, I would have thought that they would have done this, but it's like they're not in that space. But you want them in that space. Exactly. And you can't want it for them if they don't want it for themselves. Not saying that they don't, but for the most part, it's just being able to put yourself in someone else's shoes, but also be willing to say, you know what, at this moment, I love you, but I love you enough to let you grow without me. Because right now I can't grow because we've been at odds and we don't see eye to eye, and I just feel like we're at different spaces in our lives.
To both of our growth paths. It's not. And it takes a person that recognizes that they are at that level of maturity to say that. Yeah, some people
absolutely.
Don't.
No, they
have
don't.
Two people who lack maturity, and they both in the. It's just a slippery slope. You're really not trying to. Yeah.
But it's okay. You don't always have to end things on a bad note. Oh yeah. You can just be like, I love you, but I know I love you enough to let you go. And if it comes back, it comes back. And not saying relationships, friendships, family members. Yeah. Like
even the dog, the cat.
Oh God, not the pet.
The pet. You
gonna let the pet go.
The pet gonna go to the nice, warm home. But if that pet bark a few more times or purr, I'm just kidding. I kid. But we love the pets on Radiant Memoirs. We do. But for real, honestly, it's very important to be mindful of who's in your circle. Yeah. I think that's what we can end on. Yeah. I think that's a beautiful note to end on.
Absolutely.
So we close this out. Thank you so much for tuning in. As usual, you can catch up with us at Hey Radiant Memoirs. Okay, you can catch up with us on Instagram YouTube. Did I miss
TikTok.
anything else? TikTok. I always miss the TikTok, y'all, but you can catch up with us on TikTok as well.
Our TikTok fam is gonna be mad at us.
They are,
because you always forget about them. It's okay. I love you guys.
I really ain't meaning
for the both
y'all.
of us.
I really didn't. But I love y'all. We all love you. Thank you so much for tuning in with us, and we'll see you soon. Take care.
Bye.